Data grouping. We use it in our everyday life. How much should I pay this month on groceries? What are the costs of buying that car? Shall I leave my current role and accept that job offer? This is how we make data actionable. Data grouping is a technique at the core of data analysis. Whether you're summing up sales data, categorizing data, or generating insights, grouping is your go-to technique. And guess what? It's simpler than you think. It's just split, then action. Let me show you how to use it in practice in Google Sheets, Python, and even an AI assistant, all in minutes. So imagine we have this data. On the left, I have products, and on the right, I have the quantity of purchases. So for example, I have a purchase of 50 items from product A, then 110 from product B, and again 25 from product A. First, I want to ask myself, what is the column or columns I want to group on? Here, I just want to group on the product label because I want to get insights about the product categories or products in general. I want to know, for example, how much purchase did I have for product A versus B and C, or what was the average sales for them. First step, I just split. So as you can see on the right, I have a split based on the product label. I have two A's, one C, and two B, and then I have also the corresponding quantity for each of them. Next step, it's action. For each section of the split, because I have one or more items, I need to have an action. For example, I can sum them up, have the sum action. I can count them. I can have mean, max, or average. Basically, these actions are functions that I apply on this section, this split that I have for that label. And we give them names like action, function, or aggregation. These are good keywords that you could use when you're searching to group by something, or for example, when you are talking to your AI assistant. And finally, you will have the results like this. On the left, you have product categories, 3 product categories. And on the right, you have the actions and the value. So for example, I have 75 sales, 75 sold product for A versus 40 for the C. And as you can see, the dimension of our data changed because before we had multiple A's and multiple B's and C's, but now here we have only categories. Very good. Now let me show you how to use this and how to group your data in Google Sheets. I have Google Sheets in front of me. I have my raw data here. What you need to do, just select your data, go to the Insert section, and create a pivot table. Pivot table is a very good, straightforward approach that is also powerful, and you can do different kind of grouping on your data. I'm going to select to create this pivot table in a new sheet. First question, what I'm going to split on, it's going to be the product. So I add it as a row, product. Then next question, what should be the action? The action is at the value section of the pivot table. So I want to take that action on the quantity column. And I have here a list of different functions, aggregation functions that Google Sheet pivot table is offering me. I want to use the sum. Let me add more. I'm going to also use the average. And let's also add one more. I'm going to also have the max. So you can see that our pivot table is ready and we did nice grouping on the data, and we have insight about the data that we had in Google Sheet. I can just select on the top left and double click on this divider to resize this automatically. So here, for example, I know that the sum of quantity for product B is 145. Very good. That's how you would do it in Google Sheets. It is very useful, for example, when you're managing things financially, or even at your company when you are passing your data to stakeholders that are not necessarily technical. They could just open their Google Sheet and view your analysis. Next, let's do it in Python. Python is a programming language that is general purpose, and that's also very good in AI and data domain. It's open source. It has also a lot of good data analysis libraries. We are going to use Pandas, which is a very popular data analysis library, and we want to analyze our data with it. So first step, I'm just going to create a data frame with the data, Pandas data frame, and I'm going to pass all the data that we have to it. Next, I have to split. So I can split the data using this dot group by method. So I just say split by the product column. Next step, I have to add aggregation. One way is that I can use this .agg for aggregation, .ag method, and I can just pass the names of aggregations that I want, like sum, count, min, max, and mean for the average. As you can see, basically the splitting action will take place in Python. And the final result will look like this. First, I am importing pandas as PD, which is a common name for it. Then I create a data frame from my data. Then finally, I split by the product and I aggregate using the aggregation functions that I want. Let me show you how to do this in Google Colab. So Google Colab is a free environment that has Python installed along with a lot of data analysis and AI libraries. I can use this to code for free and online, and I can share it with others. So first, I'm going to import pandas as PD, import pandas as PD. Then I'm going to write my data. Next, let me create a data frame. You can see that our data frame is ready. And next step, I'm going to split by the product. Nothing still is there to show because I have a split, but I haven't specified the action for each split section. So I'm going to now add aggregation. So I want the sum, the mean, the max, and the count. And here you are. You have your data grouping result. And finally, let's use an AI assistant to do this for us. So you could use any AI assistant, any LLM like ChatGPT. And when you talk to your AI assistant, you can use this basically template, system role plus context plus the statement. In the system role, you can tell your LLM agent what their role should be. And then in the context, you can specify it more to kind of clarify your expectation in an answer. And finally, you have your statement or question, and you basically ask your request. So for example, here we are going to have this prompt. Act as a data analyst. Then we add more context. You perform data analysis using Python and Pandas. And if you want, you can add more to the context, like please don't add any explanation or add more comments to your description. Or you could even say that when you are providing your data analysis, you always provide visualization. You could just add more context to let the AI system know your expectation. And finally, I'm going to ask my question or statement. Consider the following data, group by product, and aggregate using these functions. You can see that just knowing the concepts of split and action can help you have better prompts and ask better questions from your AI assistant. So it's always good to know the concepts. And also remember, the answers you get from your AI assistant, because they are generated, there might be mistakes, or the answer you get might not be the best answer you could be getting. So feel free to first vet the answer, check to make sure you understand what's going on. And second, ask more questions and go back and forth with your AI assistant to get the result that you want. Okay, let's go try it. I am using the AI assistant from the Epithet AI platform. which we are using for education, and we have made it collaborative so that learners, they can talk to AI assistant and also be supervised by mentors and add comments or just flag certain responses. But you could use any AI assistant, any GPT. And the model here actually is the GPT-4o model from OpenAI. So I'm going to pass this prompt to my AI assistant, and here you are. You can see that it provided a very similar answer to what I did in Google Colab. So we have the data here. We create a data frame. We group by the product column. And then finally, here we have, for example, two separate steps. You're grouping, and then you are applying the aggregation function to see the result. It is possible that you get a different answer. Just go back and forth with your AI assistant and ask, for example, like, can I do this differently? Or can I do this differently in such a way that, the code is shorter, the code is cleaner? And ChatGPT or any AI assistant will kind of try to understand you and help you. Okay, that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. That's how you group data across different tools. Quick, simple, and adaptable to any workflow. Which method do you use most? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who needs to know this.